All right, this is the 2020 Toyota Supra. I am thrilled to share this with you. Now, real quick, for those that like to fact check, there have been some 2021 reviews starting to roll out, and we are going to do that at some point. But right now, it is all about the 2020. If you go to the lot, that is what you're going to be able to walk away with today. And pretty much what remains unchanged is this overall design language, the look. And it wasn't until I actually stood in front of this for the first time that I truly appreciated its beauty, and that's something I want to share with you. So go back, it's 2014, Toyota reveals the FT1 concept. Everyone hoped it would be the Supra. Well, ultimately, it's close. Anytime a production car carries that prototype feel, it is just so cool. And I think this looks way better than the BMW Z4. What do you think? I'm curious, leave a comment down below. I personally like the hardtop roof and this front. Maybe I like it so much because it reminds me of an F1 nose. I don't know, it just looks good. Buying a car is emotional. You gotta like the way it looks, and that's part of the reason why I film the way I do. I want you to experience what I get to feel and touch. So come here, let me show you something. Look at that bulge, just the right plumpness. I love how it billows out, very voluptuous and rather intimidating. And it goes all the way down the door and meets up with that black trim. It looks like it's ready to pounce, so you better move over. These lights have a piercing look. It's saying, look at me, I'm fancy. I got jewels for my eyes. And that bottom brow goes all the way across here. It's like daggers just staring you down. And then you go to the rear. It's just so perky, the way they jut out like this, which also makes it a great pollen collector. Kind of looks like an upside down letter P, half scissor, or a turkey carver. And those dots down there that flash as you back up, very F1-like or light bright. Remember that game? Especially when you put your blinker on. Oh, the lights just look so good in this thing. Red brake calipers, two-tone wheels, 19-inch, 5-spoke, paired with a Michelin Pilot Super Sport tires. But those Brembos, woof. You know what that looks like, right? A fancy pair of stiletto heels. This thing is wearing fancy shoes. Right, Andy? Yes! Oh, Andy likes it. The old school Supra font. Pretty super. It reminds me of those rings people used to wear in the 90s with their name on it. I never had one, but my older sister did, and she was super cool. Just like that. The front fascia, it's got these black little wings on the bottom. It's like a piece of crown molding, finishes the overall look so nicely. Imagine if they left that out, and it makes for a great little shelf to collect those bugs when you're on the highway. A little extra protein doesn't hurt. No, Andy, not that kind of protein. Now, make no mistake, this is more or less the same as the Z4, but look at the difference. And I know I already mentioned, but Toyota, I do feel you won on design. Personally, I think you could smack any manufacturer's badge on here and it would be believable. That's how good I think this looks. Now, because Toyota worked with BMW on this, it's gonna feel very much like a BMW on the inside. Between the door buttons, center console, infotainment, lots of BMW love in here, which means wireless Apple CarPlay. In the X3M competition, X5, X7, I always struggled with CarPlay. I don't know why. In here, it just works better. Perhaps there is a firmware update. Who knows? Maybe it's because I I don't know, it's got a Toyota badge on it and it's more reliable. Whatever it is, it has been so fun and so convenient, no cords, and I gotta say the range is really good. Even when my phone is outside of the car, as long as it's close enough to the perimeter, I was still able to play my music through the sound system, and those JBL speakers, they sound good, way better than my iPhone. So you don't have to bother with a cord, not even for charging, because there is a wireless charging pad right down here. And this plastic piece helps keep your phone right in place. So if you're gonna do a burnout, you don't have to worry about your phone becoming a projectile. Although, if you have a big phone like this kahuna, Asus, you make a big phone. Well, it's just gonna fit, but the wireless charger will not pick it up, and there's no Android Auto, so sorry for you Android users. Steering wheel looks, feels like a BMW. It's comfortable, but honestly, I kind of wish it was a little bit sportier looking. But you look through here, that is one nice looking gauge cluster. Clutter-free is the way to be. These seats are comfortable, durable. You could take a long trip in here, and I think you would enjoy it. And I especially love this piece right up here. A little deceiving to the eye though. You think it might be metal, aluminum, some sort of hard material, but in fact, yes, it's plastic. It would be nice if it were maybe a little bit more hardcore, but keep in mind the price point. Now you might think, ooh, I wonder if it feels tight in here. It doesn't. It's surprisingly open. I don't even feel claustrophobic, even with the black interior. Perhaps it's because the rear space is exposed and you can see all the way to the rear, which means when you go grocery shopping, your food is not getting shoved in a hot trunk. You can cool that thing right on down, which is very practical if you think about it. And when you want to pop that trunk, you got to either use this button or the key fob, because there's actually no button in that rear. Now this mirror could be a little bit bigger, but when you flip this up, I find it a little comical. It says the back seat is the safest place for children, and it shows a picture of the child behind the driver. There ain't no back seats in here. But look what else I found, seat backs. You don't normally see that unless there's actually a seat in the back. Great spot to hide a wallet, important papers, or a hot commodity. I think you could get a dog to fit up here. Andie is not the type that rides on a seat. If you're familiar with her videos, you know she rides in her big old bed. So Andie's got the week off. How you doing, Andie? I think she's doing just fine. Now this doesn't feel as low as some of the other sports cars that we've tested, so it's been easier to enter and exit without having to really pull myself up from the ground. All right, let's take this thing for a drive. Now this 2020 Supra has a 3-liter turbo inline 6, 335 horsepower, 365 pound-feet of torque, and that's mated with an 8-speed automatic transmission. And the sport button, it is so big, you don't even have to take your eyes off the road to tap that thing. How safe is that? Do you hear that rumble and pop? So if you like those kind of sounds, I think you're gonna like it. And even if you're not into those kind of sounds, well, guess what? It's really actually not that obnoxious. It sounds pretty good. I don't mind it at all. Thank you. I mean, hello. The power feels fantastic. Very fun to drive. Steering and handling is great. I feel very connected to the road. Now keep in mind, this is only rear-wheel drive. I do wish there was an all-wheel drive version, so if you get this, I suggest investing in a good pair of winter tires. features. I pretty much have them all on right now. You can disable it with the push of a button, but you gotta love BMW infotainment. It is just very nice, easy to access with this scroll knob. The visibility in general is good. You also have a rear camera. This is so easy to maneuver and park. I honestly could see this as a daily driver. It is that comfortable. And that rear space, come on. I mean, that is a nice surprise. Now, I've heard some people kind of making fun of the shape of the entrance to that rear, that it's kind of narrow, but give me a break. You could fit a lot back there. Honey, I'm home. Wow. Although the interior noise, there is something going on. There's a frequency that intermittently kind of bothers my inner ear, and if you drive with all the windows down, it sounds like a major wind tunnel, anything over 43 miles per hour. If you're under 43, you're fine. As soon as you cross over to 43, it's like... So if you want a convertible, you'll have to get the Z4, but you already know my thoughts on that. Truthfully, I am amazed with how much I love this thing. I'm used to driving real high, and not that kind of high, you know what I mean, SUV high, but this just feels so natural. I think it's meant to be. But with that said, there is something I need to find out, so we gotta make a quick pit stop. Hold on 1 second. Some nice driving gloves. Hopefully you can still hear me. Cobb salad number 2 deluxe, and then a sweet tea. And can you make those both larges? Thank you. Now you have 2 cup holders. This actually doesn't open up. There's no storage underneath, but there's a little... Oh my gosh. All my camera's recording because I'm in a Supra right now, and I always go to Chick-fil-A when I'm in a 2-door car.
You're in a Supra in a drive-thru?
Heck yes.
That's fancy.
I know.
Okay, catch you later.
Bye. The geese. Trying to ruin this piece. By the way, he makes really good videos, so if you don't check him out, well, you need to. I'll link his channel down below. Oh, thank you so much. Look at that. 1.
Ready?
Yeah, that's me. Thank you. All right, got our food for Andie. Okay, now, mega size cups fit even, well, sort of. I wouldn't actually put a drink back here, but my coffee mug seemed to fit better. Water bottle with a closed lid, you're good. They were handing me the food today, so I couldn't really see if it was difficult to reach up to the takeout counter, but I think this passed the takeout test. So as I mentioned earlier, the 2021 model came out. They've made some improvements. It's actually a little bit faster, and you can get a 4-cylinder version now, but those will not go on sale until the fall. And unless you're planning on going to the track and really maxing out every ounce of this car's ability, I don't think you should disregard this 2020. This is a beautiful option, and it is powerful, all right? So with that said, let's get back to Andie. Big thanks to Toyota for letting me lab mom test this beautiful 2020 Supra. Now, even though Andie didn't get a chance to ride in it, oh my gosh, she's trying to tell me it is double paw lab mom approved. I loved it, and I think it's become my new favorite vehicle. Don't forget, subscribe to our channel, click the bell so you know when our next video goes live. Follow Andie on Instagram to see pics of this Supra all week. And we'll see you next time. Andie, high five. Bye.